up for Elliot Rayler here. Yeah, man, this is a cool crowd. Thanks for coming out, y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all for a little bit. Let's see, just to get a temperature in the room here, what's the feeling on manifestation? Do we believe in manifestation? No, some, yeah. It's the idea that, if you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. I don't believe in manifestation because my stepdad's still alive. Seems like some new age nonsense to me, man. I'm joking. He died a number of years ago. That shit works. That's powerful stuff. I live in Louisville now. I'm originally from a small, unincorporated area in Tennessee. I'm not trying to brag. I grew up with some real country uncles. They love two things, right? They love Jesus and they love pain pills, and not necessarily in that order, right? It turns out growing up in that kind of environment is actually one of the leading causes of hand tattoos. That's where a lot of those come from, if you didn't know. I'm in therapy. A straight man in therapy? Hero? Those are your words. It's cool, man. I like it. It makes you kind of like examine and confront different parts of yourself, right? Like, I've always been one of them workers' rights dudes, right? Like, go to the bathroom on the company dime. Make them pay for it, right? That's a health savings account, I'm pretty sure. But recently I was in my therapy appointment, and my therapist got up halfway through to go to the bathroom. I became a capitalist real quick. Right? I was like, knock, knock, you better be thinking about my daddy issues in there. Right? Literally not paying for that shit, okay? You got time to squat, you got time for thoughts. That's what I've always said. That's what I've always said. But it's cool, like, if you find a good therapist, and by good, I do mean cheap, you can stick with them for a while, right? There's different parts of your life. Like, I'm in a relationship now. When my girlfriend and I first started dating, my therapist told me that falling in love feels the same to our brains as being on heroin. And then I quit smoking cigarettes, and she told me that withdrawing from nicotine feels the same to our brains as withdrawing from heroin. So mentally, I don't know where I'm at, but she's not doing well, right? She could probably use someone to talk to, most likely. I've got this beard, obviously. I've got this beard. Everyone's like, hell yeah, no. Everyone's like, you gotta oil that beard, Eric. Gotta oil that beard. I'm like, why would I oil my girlfriend, right? I don't. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm on Amazon, looking for different beard oils. The two different main themes of beard oil products I see, there's Viking themed beard oils or Amish themed beard oils. And I don't really feel like I fit in either of those categories, right? Like either I'm an axe throwing alpha male or a butter churning beta bitch, right? And in both cases I'm a white supremacist. That sucks. That's not my ideology at all. I need a beard oil that reflects my lived experience, right? Like, I need a beard oil for dudes that look like they failed bartending college because they kept drinking the homework, right? I need a beard oil for dudes that look like they fist fought the DJ at their sister's wedding. I need a beard oil for dudes that definitely fist fought the DJ at their sister's courthouse wedding. A DJ at a courthouse wedding? Yeah, because your sister only gets married for the fourth time once. You fancy it up. It's cool though, man. So this is this is what I'm working with. I've got kind of two looks in my 30s that I've settled into. The first one you've already seen. It's like this just general millennial trash situation, right? Most of you, when I walked up, were probably like, I get it. The other one, deadbeat dad. Right? That's what I'm working with. This guy just takes too many of the good nachos on Taco Tuesday. This guy takes the copper out of your walls when you're on vacation. Right? That's what I'm working with. So as Ali said, my name's Eric. It's fine. It's my middle name. It's what I present to the world. It gets me from A to B. My first name is Timothy, and I don't care for that one as much. It seems a bit full in the mouth to me, right? Timothy. It's a lot. Timothy. To me, it feels like you're blowing a priest. Timothy, right? I don't like it. And for as long as I can remember, I've always been called Eric. Like friends, family, extended family, everyone's always called me Eric. So I remember one day when I was a kid, I asked my mom, y'all always call me Eric. Why didn't you just make that my first name? No, what's Timothy about? And she said, my mom, she's very religious, right? Oh, Timothy's a hero from the Bible. So I said, cool, what did he do? And she got that fixed look and tone that all parents get when they're not ready for a question. He was a hero from the Bible. Some people learn Santa isn't real. I was 8 years old and learned I wasn't real. It was rough. But I looked it up. Timothy is considered a hero in the Bible. He was martyred for his faith. He was stoned to death, actually. If you don't know what that means, basically Timothy wrote a bunch of letters to some folks that weren't super interested in reading those letters. So they just kind of ignored it and left him unread, right? Then one day he shows up in town yelling on street corners, "Hey everybody, here's everything you didn't read in those letters. You're all going to hell." And they threw rocks at him until he died. And that's the hero I'm named after. Like the first QAnon dude, basically, right? But it's fine, man. We're making it work. Like I said, I grew up with some country uncles. I remember one day I was driving in the truck with one of my country uncles. And this is like back in the CD player era, right? Like I had my Sony Discman and my headphones in, just listening to music. And he looks over and says, "Are you listening to that hip-hop bullshit?" And it was that hip-hop bullshit. So I said, "Yes, sir. Great guess." He said, "What you need to listen to is an actual rock and roll outfit, classic Americana, son." And he goes fishing around in the back of his truck and pulls out a copy of Silver Side Up by Nickelback. He thinks he's introducing me to an entirely new genre of music. And in his mind, the shining jewel in that crown, Silver Side Up by Nickelback. He grew up in the 70s. Like, he grew up with the best, arguably, rock and roll music. 2001, Silver Side Up by Nickelback. This is true. Released on September 11th, 2001. I know, right? It's wild that the towers weren't the worst thing to drop that day. But what's even crazier to me is like that album went 8 times platinum almost immediately, right? Like in the wake of such devastation, America's clung to the anthemic, patriotic nature of Canadian Nickelback music. So if you think about it, Nickelback's been there from day one offering support, right? Which in my mind makes Nickelback first responders to one of this nation's greatest tragedies. That is my favorite piece of American history. That is, God bless you, Nickelback. I'll change gears a little bit. Here's something I was thinking about the other day. When the dude that does Lethal Injections gets a good performance review, do his bosses say well executed? I don't know, man. I don't really know how that works. Like maybe it's just like an Applebee's gift card and you're killing it. I don't know how all that works. There's a lot I can't figure out. Like I can't tell if Boy Scouts are just cops with more badges or if cops are just Boy Scouts with less training. All right, some of you tightened up. That's fine. I just do that to know who it's cool to smoke weed with after this. That's all. Just a fact-finding mission for me. That's all that is. I'm pretty dumb. This is true. The other day I forgot the word for Zeppelins. The large, unstable aircraft full of gas that we used to have. I forgot the word for Zeppelins. So what I Googled to figure it out was nasty blimps. And it just showed me a close-up of Mitch McConnell's neck. It felt disrespectful to blimps. Yeah, I like you. You're my dude tonight. Like I said, I'm in a relationship now. Before that, I was married for a brief time, early in my 20s, then I was single for a while. This is true. I am no longer married, and my father is no longer alive. And while those two themes seem unrelated, what connects them is that in both cases, it was their choice. Okay, I know, right? How depressing is it to be around me? That's cool, man. So that's all the dead dad jokes. Don't worry. Going to the single. So when I was single, I was on the apps for a while, man. And getting married young and then being thrown into a dating situation after is like you don't really know what you're into or what you're not into. So I was just kind of going for different stuff. And I just dated a whole bunch of wild folks, man. Like this is true. One time I went out with a clown for a little bit. 100% true. Went out with a clown. Her name was Sprinkles. Sprinkles was her government name. Her clown name was Melissa. Melissa the clown. We met on Tinder. Spent a lovely evening together. I don't want to kiss and tell, but I choked her. She honked, right? I found out those fake flowers, not the only part of a clown little squirt, as it turns out. I'm joking, you guys, but I did get a cream pie in my face at the end of the night. So that was pretty cool. After that, this is like a little weird to admit in front of a group of people because it is straight. Like I just exclusively dated tattooed women. I was like, maybe that's my lane, right? Like maybe I like my women like I like my coffee with some other dude's name written on them, right? Like that. Then what made me kind of reassess that lane of thought was one time, I saw a lady on an app, tattoos. Hell yeah, we matched. I'm not gonna get too gross, but it was like a one-night thing. We're at her place, things are happening. Her shirt comes off, and I see that she has a full portrait, like a chess piece of Charles Manson. Yeah, that one. That Charles Manson. And like that, like, you know, so if I want to get close and, you know, motorboat, which we all agree is the most erotic way to touch a woman, I've got to be face to face with Charles Manson. That's what those in the sports world call a game time decision, you know? But I ran the numbers. It was Manson before he got the swastika on his head, so inbounds, play ball, right? That's... I've dated all sorts of wild folks. Man, one time I accidentally dated a furry. That's true. You guys, you know furries? Animal costumes and yeah, man. One time I accidentally dated a furry. If you're wondering how you accidentally date a furry, fellas, you know sometimes we just kind of swipe right on people we think are hot without reading the bio. Read the bios. There's good stuff in there, as it turns out. The way I found out, one day we were just hanging out. I could tell she was down, so I check in. I'm like, hey, you good? What's going on? She's like, oh, yeah, I got my fursuit back from the dry cleaner, and someone stole it out of my car. Your fursuit? Yeah, I'm a furry. And then she just walked off, leaving me to process all sorts of information in real time. 1, she's a furry. Sweet, do your thing. Half the time, I can be persuaded to do it with you if you've got weed. 2, somebody stole her suit. I'd love to know that person's story. That's an insane thing to steal. Who's walking around and knows the street value of a size 7 zebra hoof? You know? That's buck wild. But ultimately what I landed on was the thought of whatever poor soul was working at the dry cleaner that day, right? Just pressing shirts, scrubbing wine stains out of blouses. Then a big neon pink zebra comes clanging down the line. Jerry, what do you want me to do with it? No, you got me using these tiny brushes. There's cum everywhere. Starting to think this job isn't worth $10 an hour minus benefits, Jerry. Maybe some of you are like, hey, dude, there's more to the furry lifestyle than just sex. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not part of your group. What I do know is that one time I went to a furry convention, and at no other point in my life have I gotten so much tail. What's up? Come on. That's just a long walk for a pun. That's what I like. That's what I'm about. It's cool, man. So I'll kind of wind down in this last section here, and we'll get things going. So before I was in this strange transitional phase of life I'm in now, I worked for a number of years in the recovery community, doing different things. I would do like street outreach in camps, trying to get people supplies, transitional housing for when people were out of camps but needed to kind of reacclimate to indoor living, all sorts of different stuff. It was pretty wild. Basically, my title was peer support. I don't know if anyone knows what a peer support is. Some heads. It's like a relatively new job. It's been around like the last 10 or 15 years. Basically what it boils down to is if you used to do drugs and quit, you can get a job telling other people that you quit doing drugs. That's kind of it. Like, you don't have to tell them that they need to quit. That's on them. That's their journey, right? You're just going to be like, hey, I quit, and... So how does that look? And they're like, no, I'm definitely going to keep doing drugs. What? But because I can understand, you know, what I appreciated about my substances and what led me to use them, I can generally, as a kind of common ground launch pad, appreciate what other people are into and just kind of go from there. But I did meet this one dude that threw me for a loop. Like, opiates, meth, that's kind of par for the course around here. But I met this one dude that is recreationally uses Adderall. And, like, he's not ADHD, doesn't have a medicinal need, not neurodivergent, just enjoys the effects of Adderall. So I was like, all right, sick. I like drugs. What's up? Is it like a body buzz, like a head trip? What's going on? And he said, it makes reading more fun. You don't deserve to do drugs, dude. What? It makes reading more fun is what pediatricians tell parents to make them okay with prescribing it. Like, I think if you just go say that to a pharmacist, you'll be set. I think. But it was a cool job, man. Like, it was very extreme, but it also reminded me that even at, you know, with folks that are kind of objectively at the lowest part of our system, there's still humor in everyday situations because that's just kind of a part of the human experience. Like, so a typical day for me, if I was working at the housing facility, I'd walk in around 9, and someone would say something to me to the effect of, hey, Ray's chasing Jordan with a machete. Can you go do something about that? And like a machete chase, that sounds intense, right? Like, on paper, that's attempted murder. But to give you some nuance of the situation, Jordan, very physically fit, healthy, 23-year-old man. Ray, 75, and in a wheelchair. So it was just the cutest little attempted murder you ever did see, you know? Because he would, you know, he'd push himself with one hand, he's trying to swing with the other. Very quickly realized that didn't work. So he would lay his machete across his handlebars, and then like a Hot Wheels, push himself and just take a few swings while he was going. Then Jordan, right, he's just like very casually walking like someone's not trying to kill him. What's going on? What are we doing? Go up a couple steps. What's your move now, bud? What's the plan? So Ray tired himself out and went back to his room. Jordan was a bit of a shit starter, dog. Like, I spent a lot of time with Jordan. The way his schizoaffective stuff kind of manifested I don't know if you guys ever pretend you're talking to like a reality TV crew, and it was like your intrusive thoughts or whatever. For him, that was very real. Like he was in the real world, in the little confessional booth sometimes. It just happened seemingly kind of at random. And there was this one time he was having a great week. Like we were setting up goals and he was knocking them down. He asked to go to Chipotle. I said, absolutely. Let's go to Chipotle, roll the dice on diarrhea together, right? So we went in and got our food. We're sitting in the car eating the Chipotle. And all of a sudden, lights, camera, action. It's on, right? He's just in his little confessional booth. So there we were, bored at Chipotle. Bored? Who is bored? You got chips and guac and chorizo. Ain't nobody bored. Tell all your little friends you're having a great time. He got chips and guac, y'all. He's like, I lean into the camera. I start into the delusion. Lost all credibility. It was weird, man. This next part might be a little rough, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say if you tighten up, you're tightening up on some like it's a homeless lady joke, and she said it to me. So you're basically not giving her money if you don't laugh at this joke. There's a lady at the facility. She was very pregnant. And we were just kind of going over some different services that were available to her, and then her friend walks in and she kind of nudges me and says, "Watch this." And I was like, "Oh boy, this feels like it's gonna be fucked up." And she hollers at her friend, "Hey, are you gonna babysit for me when I have this baby?" And like, we all knew she wasn't keeping the baby. You know, like it was like, this is fucked up to laugh instead of cry, right? But then without missing a beat, her friend says, "I didn't even watch my kids. What makes you think I'm gonna watch yours?" And then we all laughed for like half an hour, y'all. It was like a community bonding moment. And I guess what I'm trying to tell you when I tell you these stories is that there's a lot of dudes that, you know, look like me, that'll get on stage and like just say all sorts of hate speech and hurtful stuff and, you know, junkie this, homeless that. And then if you push back, they start saying free speech, stand-up comedy is the last bastion of free speech. No, it's not. The last bastion of free speech is not going to be some white dude saying hate speech into a microphone. The last bastion of free speech is Day-Day down at the corner of First and Broadway yelling at passersby with some hard truths about the Reagan administration. All right? My name's Eric. Y'all have been great. Thank you so much.